As Nigeria heads towards 2027, the new Nigeria People's Party is drawing a clear boundary. The party says major talks reportedly led by Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso and his Kwankwasiya movement are void, stressing he is no longer a member and cannot negotiate on its behalf. At stake is the question of legitimacy and the future of the opposition politics. NNPP's founder, Boniface Aniebonam, insists the party is open to alliances, but only those that are lawful and mutually beneficial. With internal disputes unresolved and INEC under pressure to clarify party's leadership, the NNPP's warning highlights the fragility of political structures as the election cycle approaches. Well, tonight we examine what this confrontation reveals about Nigeria's opposition and how it could shape the road to 2027. Well, joining me this evening to discuss this is Oginni Olaposi, National Secretary of the new Nigeria People's Party. He joins virtually. It's great to have you, sir. Thank you for your time. Good
evening, everybody, and thank you for having me again today.
All right, so let's get straight to it. Your party is, of course, will I call it denying or refuting any, will I call it major talks, being put forward by Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, and your party is insisting that he is no longer a member of the party. Nigerians would like to know exactly what is going on within the new Nigeria's party. What's happening, sir?
Thank you very much. It's highly unfortunate that with our repeated efforts to enlighten the public, especially the further state of the realm, that Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso has long been expelled from this party. He fought the efforts, trying to make sure that the expulsion was overturned, but he couldn't succeed. He himself, realizing the fact that it was an exercise in futility, withdrew that suit that he filed himself to obtain his expulsion. Having said that, it is now somehow looking funny that Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso is still parading himself as a chieftain or national leader of the Nigeria People's Party. With what you read in that pullout, the founder of our party, Dr. Boniface Aniebonam, made it very clear and explicit that nobody stopped Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso from having any affair or joining any party of his choice with his Kwankwasiya group. They came prelude to 2023 election to beg for a platform, frustrating to Dr. Boniface Aniebonam to get a platform to contest in 2023. And in the benevolence of our founder, he was given the platform on a platter of gold. So after that, we discovered that his interest was not even the interest of the party, and due to a lot of anti-party activities and maximum detection of corruption in the money that we got during the nominations and all that, the party wrote to EFCC also to prosecute him. He also ran to EFCC, ran to some courts in Kano, state high courts, to also stampede his investigation by EFCC. Now, it is now very obvious that he's a very desperate politician, despite the fact that you know that you are no longer a member of NNPP. And those people that are just trying to romance him or do anything with him, we want them to ask him one salient question. Where is the certificate of registration of New Nigeria People's Party? So he has no locus because the certificate of registration of New Nigeria People's Party is not with Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso.
All right, I think I'm going to come
almost 3 years ago.
Mr. Olaposi, permit me to come in here. Let's, there are quite a couple of, what I call it, court cases or court processes, still in motion. I mean, from Abuja, that of Abuja, and different, will I call it, injunctions here and there. What's the update? Because it appears as an injunction comes from a certain court, another one seems to counter what has been said. So what is the update when it comes to the legal hurdle here?
Now, thank you very much. There is no any controversy about the court judgment that we have. In Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, it was Kwankwaso and his expert group, led by one Ajuji, that dragged us to court to challenge the convention initiated by the founder and the chairman board of trustees in accordance with the judgment of Abia State High Court that gave the control of the party to the board of trustees. They ran to court in Federal Capital Territory, and at the initial stage, they got an injunction to stop our convention. When they got that injunction, we waited. We did not violate what the law says. And at the end of the day, on the 3rd of April 2025, there was a landmark judgment by Justice F.H. Azan, and he declared that the case that Kwankwaso and his group brought to Federal Capital Territories is injudiciable, and therefore the case was dismissed in total entirety. Therefore, Kwankwaso and his group, they became the judgment debtor. They are the one that dragged us to court, and they failed. And what they challenged was the convention, a legitimate convention, initiated by the founder and the spiritual head of this party, the chairman board of trustees, Dr. Boniface Aniebonam, and the court affirmed that they cannot stop that convention. We had the convention, and the convention produced Dr. Gilbert Major Hagu as the national chairman of our party, and my humble self, Comrade Oginni Olaposi Sunday, as the national secretary, the authentic national secretary of the Nigeria People's Party. Now, the hula baloo that we are seeing and how they are parading themselves unconstitutionally is what is going on in INEC. I want to say it, I want to challenge INEC this evening that Professor Amukwito promised Nigeria that the rot in INEC that is going to deal with it and swept away all the rot in INEC. We want Professor Amukwito to live up to expectation, to walk his talk by making sure that the necessary thing is done by the judgment of Federal Capital Territory, which has dismissed Kwankwaso and his entire illegalities. Therefore, the convention that produced Major Hago and my humble self and the other members of the National Working Committee that we led must be updated in INEC server. If you call them now, they will be making all kind of nonsense and said, go and check the server. The Supreme Court judgment said it clearly that it is the political party that have the right, they have the right to determine who is their leader.
Mr. Olaposi, before we go on break. Before we go on break.
For 23 years ago, spoken loudly through the convention that produced Major Hago and my humble self as the secretary of the party.
All right,
so the court has no any issue about the delivery of judgment. The judgment is certain. And I want to say it again. Kwankwaso and his group never appeal the judgment. They never appeal the judgment. So the judgment is alive.
All right. So before we go on break, in one word, why do you think that this latest, well, I call it revelation right now, this latest update, according to you, has not been updated on the INEC server? One word.
Yes, it's due to the corruption in INEC. And that was why I said that, this struggle began during the era of the last INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yacoub. And during the inauguration of Amukwito, Prophet Amukwito promised Nigerians that he's going to sweep up all the rot in INEC. INEC has proved itself to be one of the most corrupt institutions in this country today. And I challenge them, what is the interest of INEC? If somebody, the INEC was joined in that suit by the illegalities of Kwankwaso and his expert group. They joined INEC as a party to the suit. And INEC lawyer was coming to court.
All right.
And there was a court judgment that dismissed all their prayer in total entirety. What was INEC now waiting for? Why will INEC not do the needful? Do we still need to push them? Do we need to even palliate them before they do the needful? I challenge Professor Amubita this evening that he must walk the talk. Look at the case of NNPP. Call for the file of NNPP, and the needful must be done.
All right, thank you very much. We'll go on our first break. When we return, we'll expand this conversation to look at the role of virtually many of the stakeholders in lieu of the 2027 general elections, from opposition parties to the ruling party and even the umpire itself, INEC. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest. Oginni Olaposi is National Secretary of New Nigeria's People's Party. He joins virtually. It's great to have you, sir. Thank you for staying with me. Now, let's expand the conversation a bit beyond the NNPP and also look at the role of other stakeholders. Let's start with the umpire because before we went on that break, you sort of threw a jab at INEC. The new South, this particular agency has said that, look, it will do better, as assured Nigerians. It will do better. It will do well. However, everyone also has a role to play, including political parties like yourself, in lieu of 2027. And of course, with the last council elections that, happened in Abuja, the FCT, as an opposition party, are you confident in INEC's new leadership and its ability to be that fair umpire in 2027?
Thank you very much. This is a very good question. And I appeal to all Nigerians to make sure that we all put pressure, joint pressure on INEC to do the right thing. Mr. President has done the right thing by appointing a professor of law to be the jury at the INEC headquarters as the chairman. But it is one thing to give somebody a job. It's not the president that will do the job of Mr. Chairman for him. I said it and I repeat that Amubita himself discovered during his inauguration that there were rots in INEC. So we cannot say he was the one that brought his inadequacies in INEC. But one of his duty is to reaffirm the confidence of Nigeria, is to rebuild the confidence of Nigeria in INEC. He has a very tall order to deliver a free and fair election. Therefore, I want to challenge him that I've never seen anything quite different. I haven't seen anything quite different from Mahmoud era. Because you are a professor of law. We don't need to go to Harvard University to interpret judgment. If somebody is a plaintiff and drags somebody else to court and court dismiss that case, you don't need any rocket science to know who is the winner in that case. And the process that produces leadership of any political party is congresses and convention. And these two processes were totally followed. And we submitted all the results to INEC. So if not for corruption, if not for questionable characters in INEC, nothing should have delayed the updating of the record of NNPP for a second. Now, concerning the 2027 election coming, I want to say it loud and clear here too, that the by-election that happened in Kano, INEC did not put NNPP on that logo. And I'm telling INEC for sure today that we are going to challenge that illegality too. Because the Electoral Act says that no political party must be unnecessarily, no logo must be omitted, no name must not be on the ballot for any reason.
So you are saying you are going to challenge. You are saying you are going to challenge the fact that, according to your party, was not included in the just concluded council elections.
Yes, in the by-election in Kano. The just concluded by-election that happened Saturday before the last. Saturday the 21st.
All right.
February.
Okay, because we are really trying to also.
NNPP was not on the ballot. Maybe because they don't want to injure the feeling of Kwankwaso, because they know that Kwankwaso has lost out. And they needed to put the logo of the basket of fruit. But instead of putting it, they just stay aloof. And we challenge it in court.
All right.
That means
I'm going to read an excerpt of some of things that the new INEC chair did say at a town hall meeting organized by civil society groups. I'll just read an excerpt of some of the things he said. Talking about achieving 100% perfect election. In his words, he said, however, we may not be able to achieve 100% perfect election for now, but as far as electronic transmission of results is concerned, I said it before, FCT area council, that we have the capacity to transmit the results and that we are going to transmit the result. The only concern was real time. What is real time? For instance, if you use your app to make a transfer from your account to another account, even in Abuja town, you are transferring 50K to Mr. B and then from your app, and then it goes on. But where I'm going with this, number one, the fact that he said, look, there may just be a caveat. 100% perfect election might not be possible, even though he has guaranteed that the one for 2027 will be the best yet. And also the issue of real time. As an opposition, please, I'd like you to make your answer really brief. Does this statement in any way bother you?
I don't think the statement is good enough. The statement coming from Abuja is not good enough. We know that truly, as human being, one may not have 100% perfect. When you strive to attain perfection. If you yourself have been thinking of failure or thinking of imperfection, have been issued even from before the election starts, what kind of confidence are you giving to Nigeria? As a professor of law, that statement is not good enough. That statement is not a statement of encouragement. I want a chairman that will beat his chest, that I will give Nigeria one of the best credible elections that we've ever had. Was Professor Aniebonam not in Nigeria during the Abiola and Tova election? The June 12 election that was even midwife by the military? Was it not a watershed? Did anybody say anything that is contrary? If not for the annulment by the military junta. So why is he now telling us that? After how many years? 1992, 93 to date. So after almost 30 years for telling us another thing, I think that one is unacceptable.
All right.
We need to tell him that it's unacceptable.
All right, Mr.
We need to go and prepare very well for a free, fair, and credible election.
All right. Before I let you go, I know you have a lot to say.
Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not be happy with that statement. Because that statement is an indictment for INEC. Every human being program to attain perfection. We train our children to attain perfection, to be the best. But if you make your effort and people cannot give excuse for you that, oh, they try, it's only this, it's only that. But you yourself as the chairman and the #1 umpire person in the coming election, you're already telling us that there won't be perfection. What are you trying to tell us?
All right. Before I let you go. We want
free, fair, and credible election in 2027.
All right, great. Now, before I let you go, Apparently, according to you, you've kicked Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso out of the NNPP. The governor of Kano State has also defected to the All Progressives Congress, talking about Abba Yusuf. Now, for some Nigerians that are watching and wondering, I mean, these are heavyweights within the party. What's next for the NNPP in lieu of 2027? And are there plans for mergers? If so, what parties or what's the strategy around this?
Thank you very much. I want to assure Nigeria that Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, rather than be a blessing to NNPP, it was rather a curse. And it was even part of his shenanigans that led to the exit of the only governor that we have in the party, a person of Kabir Yusuf, Gida. Because the governor was not talking to anybody about the kind of personality Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso happened to be. The way he treated the governor as a demigod during his reign was what led to the exit of the governor. And because he was unable to manage the little misunderstanding within the party, and I want him to shut up of parading himself that he wants to rule Nigeria. Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso must shut up. Because if you cannot manage a party, a victory of a party like NNPP, how will you manage in Nigeria, a country that vibrates? A little litmus test. Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso failed.
All right.
Boniface Aniebonam, our founder, gave him the opportunity.
All right.
That today he will have been one of the refined politicians in the history of Nigeria. He messed it up.
All right.
So if you cannot manage a little thing, how will you manage a complexity, the diversity of Nigeria? That's
right.
why
Thank
I'm
you.
challenging him to shut up or parading himself that he wants to be president of Nigeria. You cannot manage Abba Yusuf, only one governor, and you want to be president to manage 36 governors.
All right, thank you.
He must shut up and shut up.
Thank you very much. Oginni Olaposi is National Secretary of the New Nigeria People's Party. Of course, speaking to me virtually. It's great having you once again. Thank you for your time, sir.